Thanks for joining us. This is Live with Miami's Community News, and today we're going to be talking about garbage pickup and the July 4th upcoming weekend. Frank Calderon, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
So July 4th is right around the corner.
Yep.
And we know that people's eating habits change for this whole weekend, all right?
Yes.
Starting probably later today through at least another week or two. Well, let's talk about first the services offered by the county. Is there any change in service?
Yes, July 4th is one of only 3 actual holidays that are garbage collection people take. The other 2 being Martin Luther King Day in January and Christmas Day in December. There will not, if your day falls on Thursday, which July 4th falls on a Thursday this year, if your day falls on Thursday, you will not get picked up until Monday, the following Monday. So please don't be upset. But if you do, but here's the thing, garbage, we won't pick up, but recycling, our contractors will, because if not, then we miss you for basically whole month. Yeah. So the recycling will be picked up if that's your day, but garbage will not.
So recycling the blue dumpsters
yes.
And our carts. I want to thank Jean Marie Massa, who was here last week. Thank you very much. We always have a very good time with her. All right, a lot of fun, and she's showing us all the new different things as far as recycling. So we know July 4th weekend, which is July 4th is on a Thursday.
Yes.
So everything starts now, right?
Yeah.
But in particular this weekend, going to be a lot of people out on the beach or in their backyards where it's going to be 95 degrees, and we subject ourselves to cooking on barbecue things where it's humid and everything. But so the type of food that people are eating in a short period of time sort of shifts. We know that people are drinking a little bit more, right? So there's a lot more recyclables that's going to happen.
Yes.
But is there something in particular that people should do with their garbage on July 4th weekend?
Well, one thing to note is we've had issues in the past is those hot coals from barbecuing. And also you have fireworks. Don't put them, those carts are plastic, they will melt. They will melt. We have had issues before where people have called on July 5th and told us, oh, my cart is melted, or it caught fire, what do I do? And they get charged. So we have guidelines on our website for how to treat, and I think the fire department does it as well. For how to treat it. You're supposed to soak it in water for so many hours before you even, wrap it in aluminum foil. Just to take those precautions. They sound a little bit over the top, but that way you'll be sure that you don't have any problem. And the other thing too is it's not just that the card is going to melt and then you're on the hook to replace it, but it could potentially create a fire. Yes. And you don't want that in your backyard or the side of the house. So
if somebody needs a new cart, they can dial 311 or fill out the form. And if it's determined that it was due to your negligence, they're going to charge you.
You will be charged. Yes.
Is there an approximate how much it is, approximately, more or less?
I don't know. The last I remember hearing was about $80, something like that, to replace the cart.
And the fee that we pay for extra garbage cans, and I got a bill recently, I think it was $154.
Yes.
And you get a can with that. It's not the can per se. It is the service that you get, which actually, when you think about it, it's pretty inexpensive when you think about how many times.
Yeah, it's $154 a year. So you divide that off the top of my head, the math is going to be a little bit more than $10 a month. I think 12, 13, 15, something like that.
So when you look at it, and that's twice a week, all right?
And that's an extra full cart. And if you're smart, if you produce a lot of garbage, the default size anyway for garbage carts is the largest size, 96. So you make sure that second cart is also 96 and fill it up.
So again, most people in Miami-Dade County have garbage pickup twice a week. Mm-hmm. And again, for the people that don't know, how many, not that they care, but we care, all right? More or less, how many customers are there that have their green carts picked up a week?
Roughly 340,000, and it's picked up twice, so that ends up being whatever 340,000 is, about 680, about almost 700,000 customer interactions, if you want to call it that.
That's a huge week. Yeah, that's huge. All right, and we know they go to different sites, and everybody's sort of happy with that. And again, on the recycling, when they go in the blue cart, and then they're brought over to a tipping floor, and all that goes out there, and then the vendor goes through and takes and separates the different things.
Yes.
We understand that there's some new products that are being able to be recycled.
Yes.
Do you recall what the new ones are?
Yes, items that we didn't recycle in the past. Pizza boxes is one, as long as they're not like really like terribly soaked in grease. And another thing you can do is if the bottom part is soaked in grease, but the top part is relatively clean, you can just rip that half off, recycle that, and the other half can go in the garbage. If you're really conscientious about it. Otherwise, we prefer you just throw it all in the garbage. But if it only has a little bit of grease, if it's lightly soiled is officially the term they use, it can go in the recycling.
So the vendors that Miami-Dade County has take certain recycled stuff. There may be other jurisdictions outside of Miami-Dade County that their vendors take things that we don't take care of.
It's possible, yeah. Different places have different programs.
Right. So now I understand you take the yogurt cups. Right?
Yes, also, which we didn't take in the past.
Right, which is like a big deal because people can really relate to that. They don't have to think about yogurt cups. The cans that you get, the plastic bottles, the drink, all the glass, that can all go right
Any
into
type of bottle, whether it's plastic or glass, and we know that now with the 4th of July weekend, we'll probably see an uptick in both bottles and aluminum cans, but yes.
And if Dade County Animal Services were here, they say keep your dogs inside,
yes.
all right, because they get scared. Do not open the door, all right, because they're going to be really scared.
I did temporary duty with them once a few years back, and they said that the 4th of July is a big deal for them because, unfortunately, a lot of people keep their dogs in their yard, for example, and the fireworks just scares them and they'll run off. So be very careful. Secure your pets that day, please.
And if people don't have a license, get it, or lock them in your bedroom so they can rip up your bed when they get so scared. Better than running away. All right. So frequently the county's looking for people to drive the waste trucks, right? The garbage trucks.
Yes.
All right. Tell us about that.
Yes, officially the title, I believe, is Waste Truck Driver Operator. At the moment, we don't have it announced, but we generally have just like a long-standing need for drivers. My best advice for somebody who's interested is for any position, the county, miamidade.gov/jobs, not just our department. There's lots of positions, but if you're specifically interested in being a garbage truck driver or waste truck driver operator, just check it. I would suggest maybe every couple of weeks, check for the jobs that are open, and I think you can even click by solid waste department, so you don't have to check the whole county, and just when it opens up, you can apply.
So we know this is hurricane season. We do have a hurricane that is now passing underneath us, going to whack some people. All right, terrible. And then CNN had a series last night on the storms over Fort Myers 2 years ago, and they reflected on Hurricane Andrew. As far as the bulky waste pickup, what a great time for people to go through their yards and figure out what to do. How should they arrange that?
Well, generally, especially when you're talking about the stuff going on with the hurricane season, we always tell people do it before. We're in hurricane season now, but still at this time, there's still some time. We're not under imminent threat. Fortunately. So I would suggest if you have stuff in your yard, if you have an old tree that you need to, chop it down because it's going to just fall over any moment, or limbs on a tree that may fall over and damage your house. Now is the time. Do not wait any longer. Do not wait till the last minute, because the last minute is going to be too late. Do it now. Check our website, miamidade.gov/solid waste for the bulky waste pickup. Because now you can pull down a menu and see what dates are available and pick the date you want and get it done as the soonest possible. If you wait till we are threatened by some kind of tropical storm or hurricane, what's going to happen is those appointments are going to fill up fast, and you might find yourself with an appointment beyond the date that landfall is expected. And then what are you going to do? At that point, you can come to one of our TRCs, but it's not the same thing. So we suggest, do it. You should have done it before, but if you haven't done it yet, you still have time to do it now, but do it now because you never know.
So TRC's trash and recycling center.
Yes.
So on the what's approximate address? The one's up north, more or less.
We have one in Palm Springs North. We have one at the North Day landfill. We have one Golden Glades, which is near the Golden Glades interchange, only a few blocks away. We have another one that we call the Northeast Transfer Station, which is kind of close-ish.
And then we have FIU, near FIU.
And then we have FIU, the Snapper Creek one. We have the one on 107th Avenue between Kendall and Sunset, which is called Sunset Kendall. We have several down south. We have one in Pinecrest called Chapman Field. We have them all over the place.
The one Sunset Kendall one. It's like it's so subtle. You're driving on the road, take a right turn here, and you go.
Yeah, really.
It's
we
really
do have a sign there, but yeah.
It's really very nifty that it was sort of built in there, and it's not, it's not in your face type of things. Just to go over though, people can they fill up their trucks from their house or their cars and take it to one of the TRCs. What sort of ID do they need, and is there a charge for that?
Okay, they should not use a commercial vehicle. If you have you run a business and you run it out of your pickup truck and it's got lettering on it, if you have magnets, take the magnets off. But if you have letter or painting indicating it's a business, then unfortunately you'll get turned away. It has to be a non-commercial vehicle. It's for non-commercial residential only purposes. You do need your state ID or Florida driver's license. Obviously can't be out of state because then it indicates you don't have an address here, but it's got to be a state ID, Florida state ID or Florida driver's license. You present it, they scan it, they make sure that you're one of our customers, and then they let you in.
For the guys with young children, nothing is better than to hop in the back of the pickup truck, all right, and sweep that stuff right into the dumpster. I'm just a kid when I used to do that a lot. I go, what a thrill it is to be able to do that. And I know there are a lot of people that are like that. When we go to Home Depot, we all are like, okay, I'm here today. But let's talk about the plastic bags that we get at Home Depot and plenty of other places. And we can walk out with 2 or 3 items with there. Tell us about what we should do with those bags.
All right, the plastic bags are not recyclable in our program, the blue recycling carts, but they may be recyclable at certain retailers that'll take them. Off the top of my head, Publix and Walmart, there are others. I don't want to, play favorites here. I can't tell you that I have physically gone to Walmart and seen that most of them have a little a place where you can take them out front, and they will take bags that, even if they're not Walmart bags, any type of filmy plastic, which includes and they tell you this, dry cleaner, like the covering you get on your clothes for dry cleaning, that sort of thing, they'll take it there, but it cannot be recycled in our program.
And speaking of dry cleaning, I just found out that the coat hangers are not recyclable. I think this is what I was
Well,
told.
I don't think that they're not recyclable in our program in the sense that you can't put it again, because what happens is, since they use machinery to separate, what ends up happening is it gets tangled in this and just jams up things. But a lot of dry cleaners, my dry cleaner, and the laundromat that we use to do our laundry, they'll take the hangers back and they'll reuse them. They don't necessarily recycle them, but a lot of them will reuse them.
Right. And so that you can take it back there and say, here they are.
A lot of them. Check first, though. I always warn people, check first, and that goes with the plastic bags.
When you
check
have 150
exactly. You don't want to come with everything. Okay, here we go, and they say, oh no, we don't take them. Check first, make sure they take them, and then bring them.
The part that it's still perplexing to me is the small plastic bags that we get. And the instinctive thing is, of course, it's recyclable, but it's not in this program.
It is recyclable, but it's just not in our program. It's just our program can't take it because of the volume and the way things are processed by machine. It gets tangled up in the machinery. That's why we suggest, if you really want to recycle it, find a place. A lot of retail stores will take them back, even if it's not their their store brand. They'll take them. Check first, of course. Otherwise, you can reuse them. If you have a pet, for example, they're perfect for pet waste.
Yep. Let's talk about a can, whether it's a Coke can or like a can of soup, whatever. How long does it take for a Coke can to get recycled, and what does it come back as?
Well, aluminum in particular can come back as a lot of different things, but aluminum can potentially be recycled in as little as 6 weeks. And it can come back as another can. So you could potentially be drinking.
So there's life.
The odds are kind of high.
So there's life after.
Yes, but the odds are high that you'll be drinking out of the same exact aluminum from the can you drank 6 weeks ago. But it's potentially possible.
But a can of food can that also be made into a Coke can?
It's a different material. It's a different material. It's steel. So they'll make steel products out of it, whereas the beverage cans tend to be made out of aluminum.
When these things get sorted out, explain to me, when they're looking, it's going down a conveyor belt and you got, 30, 40, 50 different types of products. How does it get separated?
They use a bunch of different, technology to do it for them at the beginning of the process. And we have videos of the whole process on our website, by the way. And even the videos are a little bit old, and they've actually updated some of the process. At the beginning of the process, they have people, they're taking out stuff that shouldn't go. I remember seeing once that they had a plastic, like a fake AK-47 rifle
Nice.
that they posted on a poster board of some of the items that were, I mean, come on. And then plastic bags are one of the things they look for and they take out. But it goes through. There's these star screens, which are where the plastic bags get wrapped up and that kind of like lift. They don't have a belt on them. They just like the actual rollers, and they lift cardboard and paper up off away and separated from the rest of the stuff. You have an eddy current, which is an electrical type of current that shoots it's actually fun to watch. It shoots the aluminum cans off and into a bin, into their own bin. The steel cans are picked up by magnet. An optical scanner separates the plastic bottles and actually separates the different types of like the clear plastic versus the plastic like from dishwashing detergent and stuff like that. It's very fascinating.
So this sorting goes on for quite a while until they get as clean as they can get it.
Yes.
So are you familiar with what happens to the plastic bottles, how it gets reconstituted as far as the process?
Plastic bottles, I don't know if they make new plastic bottles out of old ones. I know that there's different things that they can make out of plastic. One of them is fiber, like for clothing, jacket fill, stuff like that. Another thing that they do is they'll make like plastic lumber. Some park benches, for example, if you go, I don't know if they do that here. I've seen in other cities.
We have some in South Miami. We've seen.
And oh well, there you go. In Chicago, I remember a few years ago we went on a school trip with my son and his school. Some of the public garbage cans that they have are plastic, and they'll tell you they were made out of plastic bottles and how many plastic bottles they were made out of even. So those are some of the things.
How do we get our heads wrapped around? Hey, when you do this, all right, you're allowing a whole process, a whole system in there, and it's a good thing to do, even if you can't specifically measure the difference, but it does make a difference.
I think having things like the park bench that you mentioned and the garbage cans that I saw in Chicago, I think that helps because now you actually see something tangible. It's like, wow, I put a plastic bottle in recycling and they can make something like this out of it, and you're actually physically seeing it.
Yes.
So I think that helps. There are some clothing, as a matter of fact, not to pick again favors, Walmart, I've gone there before and I've seen like the vests that the employees wear. On the back it'll tell you that it was made out of plastic bottles. And
to your point, if we saw more of that, we might be a little bit more inspired about how to do that and how to teach our kids to do it. I mentioned before about my grandkids. I said, why should we keep the waterways clean? Because they have kayaks and they go down in the canals and the manatees are within sight because they go, oh, we're trying to help the manatees. It's when we can put your finger on that and say, this really helps. A friend of mine has his whole pool patio with the plastic redo. It's just,
and the good thing is, unlike wood, it doesn't rot.
Yeah.
Unlike wood, it doesn't rot.
Wow. All right. And there's certainly a good feeling that goes along with that. So let's talk a little bit again, back to drivers. What are the basic qualifications somebody needs to have in order to apply for a position with solid waste as a driver?
Well, they generally ask for at least a year or so of experience. It doesn't have to be specific to garbage trucks because they'll train you on that specific type of vehicle. But a CDL for sure is mandatory. If you don't have a CDL, then
commercial driver's license.
Commercial driver's license, yes.
I may have purchased my last truck. I was in the parking lot the other day. Two people were waiting for me to get around, move, and I'm going. Took me 10 times going back and forth. So, and I've enjoyed trucks my entire life. The people that drive those big trucks, they are skilled. They know how to do it. They have to have a lot of patience. They got to be able to see wherever they're looking with the cameras and the mirrors. And with these drivers, they have a joystick and they control the arm that goes down. The big claw picks it up and goes like this, right? And then puts it back down.
And most interestingly of all, it's right-hand drive. Now the trucks come with both because the thinking being that you go to where the trucks are staged, where they keep them overnight. You drive the left-hand side to your route, and then you switch to the right-hand side. But a lot of the drivers don't even bother. They just get in the right-hand side, drive to the route, and they don't want to make the switch. And then when they get to the route, they have to drive right-hand, just like the post office workers, because the post office box or the mail boxes are right there, and they can just, don't have to get out of their vans. Same thing.
Never thought about it. So let's talk about a little bit about when people are, are going through their garages and they got the old refrigerators and all the other white stuff, freezers or stoves. What can people do with those?
Those can be either taken to the trash and recycling centers or bulky pickup. Now, the one thing we always caution when you do bulky pickup, if you tell them that you're going to put out specifically a refrigerator or a freezer, they're going to tell you that, chain it or take the doors off or something. I grew up in an era, and you know this too, where unfortunately a lot of times people put refrigerators out there and kids are playing hide and go seek. What's a perfect place to go hide? That refrigerator. And then people forget about you. And then next thing you know, those are airtight.
Yep.
Because of the seals on them. And what's going to happen after a few hours? I don't want to mention it too much, but yeah, that's why we ask people, whether you do it online, you'll get, if you note that they have a refrigerator or freezer, you'll get an instruction back that says, please remove the door or, secure it some way. And if you call 311 on the same thing, they're going to tell you the same thing.
And people can go online to miamidade.gov/solid waste.
Yes.
And you can put for bulky waste pickup. And I've been there a couple times, and there it is. There's the house. Where you're going to put it? What's the address? Really,
and then you pick your day from a pull-down menu.
Yeah, it's really simply amazing. And maybe the first 1 or 2 times people might not get it, but they could call 311. They can book that for them. So here we are. Christmas is closer. All right. New Year's is
Christmas in July.
Christmas in July. All right. Hopefully this next 4 or 5 months, 6 months with the hurricane season is going to treat us well down here in South Florida. Welcome back, and I'm glad you enjoyed your trip. My regards to you and your family. And Frank Calderon, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Again, folks, thank you for joining us. And remember, take care of you and your family. And many thanks to Rochelle for